Morning, y'all. Uh, just wanted to make another follow-up video with my thoughts on this whole situation, walking the dog. It's about 6 in the morning. Hope you guys are doing okay. This way, Jojo. And, anyway, so I watched the rest of this interview that Shoe on Head did with a channel. I can't remember the name of it. I'm sorry. I can put the link in the description after this is done. And it's funny because this morning I was looking at my Facebook memories, like I usually look at them every morning to see what kind of things were on my mind in any given prior year. It's just interesting to see the evolution, I guess, of my thoughts and how much I've changed in the past 12 or 13 years, I think, that I've been online. Anyway, so there was a thing I 2 years ago, 2021, today, I made a post that was sort of a follow-up or my thoughts on this debate that Lauren Southern had with Rollo Tomasi. And my whole point was, I wish that, people, they would have gotten to the potential causes and solutions, because I think my main issue with Rollo, I know that he has a lot of useful things to say, and The Rational Male is a great book and all that, but sometimes I guess he gets a little too caught up in his own ego and winning against, women or whatever. And Lauren, she was great in when she was making content. I liked her stuff a lot, but she's sort of done with what I've noticed many women do that get involved with the men's movement. They do it, and then after a point they become, I don't know, uncomfortable. I'm just letting the dog in the park here. Just give me a second. They get uncomfortable with what, all of the anger the men have in the space, and then they're like, oh, maybe this is misogynistic, right? Even though I don't think that's really possible. And I was watching that debate, and I thought it was really interesting timing, because again, I watched the rest of that Shoe on Head discussion as well, and what I've noticed is that it's the same kind of thing, and it's weird timing. It's like all these things happen in cycles, right? 2 years ago, and then Lauren Southern's debating with Rollo, and then not long ago you had the bimbo ops with Rollo and Brittany Venti, and they were exposing him. But more than that, they were exposing the manosphere, right? And Lauren Southern even said in her comments, she said, you guys, this is why, because after my post where I said, this could have been a much more productive discussion, and the lament is that it's Lauren Southern that's getting the oops, Jojo's going. I'm gonna let him have his privacy there. The discussion is that that I wanted to see happen, that the progress I guess I was hoping for would be that people would be talking about these issues and looking at, okay, what can men do, what can women do, right? Right now it's always just what can men do, and there's nobody's asking anything of women, while at the same time we're trying to convince women that they can have it all. Georgia's still trying to go. And I just wanted to see Lauren say, here are some things that could change, or here are some cultural things we could move. And I would like to have seen Rollo do it, and neither of them did. It was just sort of Rollo trying to prove to Lauren that why men have it hard, and explain to her what this or that is, and that's true. But we've been saying this for years, and Lauren knows this stuff, and she's sort of denying it, or no, it's more like this thing that people do where they're like, well, we need to acknowledge that both sides have problems, and it's like, and that doesn't go anywhere. It's like, can we just get to the root of it, or go deeper on this, like. And that reminds me of the shoe thing, because she was talking to these two hosts, and there was another woman on there, and I think they're both left wing, but I think the woman definitely was as well. I mean, Shu is left, but I'm talking about the two hosts of the show. I don't think it was one of those, like, here's a left winger and here's a right winger, and like, I don't think it was one of those. I think they're both left wing people, and they're having Shu on, and they're talking to her, and they're like, oh, we're so glad that you brought this up, because we think that, like, we've been talking about men's issues for a while. I never heard of these people, but they have like 1 million subs, so I guess they're big. I have to look at their channel. But and they're like, oh, this shouldn't be like a right wing, or like a right wing thing, because like the left should be talking to men because men are people, blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, it shouldn't be, but it has been for like the last, ever since I've been doing this. I mean, I didn't ever say this is a political thing. I never said it before, but like, if you've been doing this for a while, it is. Like, that it is, because there's no other paradigm, right? And even though, like, Shu tries to make the case, the problem is this, and this brings me to the video I made yesterday where I talked about Tin Men, who's a left-wing MRA guy, Shu, Lauren Southern, Brittany Venti. I mean, Lauren Southern might as well be kind of left-wing. I don't know what her politics are at this point, but I know that she's been moving, like Friends of Destiny, moving towards the center. All these people, and now that this is a thing, like that, like the male loneliness thing can't be ignored anymore. The marriage rates, the replacement rates, the divorce rates, and everything else. Now they want to talk about it. And it's funny, because when those people had Shu on Head On to talk about this thing, and they're like, well, this really shouldn't be political. It's like, yeah, but you're having her on now because it is for you. You should have been talking about this a long time ago. You should have been trying to find people like Karen, or myself, or or Allison, or Hannah. There's countless people that are not. The thing is, they're not on the left, right? I mean, so it's not convenient. This would because they're putting their ideology before the men, even when they say they aren't. It's obvious they are, because that's what it's coming out of their mouth. That's like, it doesn't become a problem until they see that they're losing the men, and the reason why they're losing the men is because their ideology is built on that. It's at the foundation of it. Do you see what I'm saying? Look, I think some people they think that it's possible to be a left-wing MRA, and because if you ask them, like, why do you think that, they'll say, well, being on the left means you care about people, right? That you have like compassion for people who are underserved or whatever. Now, I think that is frankly a bullshit way to frame it, because basically what you're saying is we're the group that cares about people, and the other group is the one that doesn't, and that's kind of ridiculous. Like there's no such thing as ours is just the good guys. That's not a thing. It's just a matter of like, everyone cares about other people's plight. It's just a matter of like, how do they, what they think the best way forward is. And I think that's where people differ, right? And the problem with leftism is that since it is statism, like in its purest form, and I'm not saying there are no right wingers that aren't statist, but I think that we'll be getting caught up in very specific weeds. I think the right moves would prefer to involve the state less. And the left thinks that the state is the solution to all their problems, right? It's like a genie. And Shu even said that on her interview. She said, oh, this is all because of capitalism, and because of, not being able to make a living wage, we need to have like a basic like income, like she didn't say UBI, but it sounded like UBI, which is a fucking awful idea. And she thinks that that's going to fit. And then, of course, people blame social media, which I think is stupid. Social media is simply a tool. It doesn't have like an opinion. You know, there's and when it then and what really upset me about this was when it comes down to, looking at what the real factors are. And in my opinion, the real factors are that women are picky, and they have been fed this line for what, 50 or more years, that they deserve more, like that they can like swing above their pay grade, that they and that they're entitled to that. And so you get like women, and you can find videos of this. I shared one on my Twitter, of like women that are in their 30s that are still out partying, like they went to a concert or something, and this guy on the street is asking them like what it is that they like, why they're having trouble finding a man, and they're just blaming men for it. And they're like in their 30s. Like these women are probably gonna die alone, and it's because they're deluded into this idea that they deserve more, and this is why, like, most women getting laid is not a big deal, because like any man would be willing to bang most women, but when you put the focus on sex, you miss the real point, which is that men are looking to find a companion, right? They want like a wife, they want kids. Like this is what, and I know that sexual revolutions changed that and all this other stuff, but like people are really, really forgetting like what matters. I'm not for necessarily like arranged marriages or anything like that, but like if women are just doing what they want and they're just serving themselves, which is what women and men are doing, it's not going to work out for anybody. And I think leftism can only exist in a society that is not like, fighting for survival. And so we're in such abundance that you can have like these attitudes that like, I should have, free healthcare. I should have free, a cell phone. I should have shelter. That's why they hate landlords. Like, this is why they think that like food, it's okay to like, rob like businesses and like loot as much stuff as possible, because, we're Aladdins and we need to like, feed ourselves, and you shouldn't like, and all of this, it comes from, you could say, modernity. But I think that leftism can only exist in a society like that, where people think, oh, well, why do we have to work to make money? And that's the thing that a shoe misses too, is that men need that though. Like anybody worth their salt should want to earn their way. And I think that men in particular need to do that, because it gives them a sense of purpose. Jojo's just chewing up sticks. I don't know why he does this. And I think that women also need a purpose. And I think that this is what we're missing here. And what I'm a little annoyed by is that, again, like I watched Shu's whole video where she did her video in the on her YouTube channel, and then she did a video like an interview with these people, and then I saw like Brittany Venti make the video about Rollo and how they like owned him and all that, and Lauren Southern's been quiet, and the Tin Men has been on Chris Williamson, right? And all these left-wing guys and people that are MRA types, or at least claim to care about them, they haven't sent, and they know us. This is the thing, they know us. Like, Shu knows about Honey Badger Radio. She used to be on the show. She used to come on multiple times. Lauren Southern knows about Honey Badger Radio. She used to come on the show multiple times. Not once have I heard any of them say, well, you know who's doing a good job of this stuff? And it doesn't have to be, look, I'm not an egomaniac. It doesn't have to be us, but I mean, it should be somebody like better. It should be like Paul Elam. It should be like Janice Pimengo. It should be like Cassie J. It could be her movie. It could be, Karen, I mean, Karen goes on AM radio all the time. She talks to conservative and right wing people online, and of course, when I do like shows with Allison, she has to mention that conservatives aren't doing any better. But I mean, they're talking to us, like that. That's the difference. The left is trying to wrestle with this because they want to win, and they're trying to like get men on their side so they can win. And even though Shu is acknowledging this reality, she's still participating in it. But at least the conservatives are listening. This loneliness thing, Matt Walsh made a video about it, and I watched it. Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire, which is a conservative platform. And he said, I've been talking about this for years. So, this isn't like, I don't think this is a both sides thing. I think that there are, not all, but some conservatives, maybe a significant number, that are concerned about men, that are concerned about fatherlessness. Larry Elder has been talking about fatherlessness forever, right? Thomas Sowell has been talking about fatherlessness forever. That are concerned about all these things. They may not talk about like feminism as much. They may believe some, the feminism of yesterday or the feminism in another country. Sure, that's wrong. But I mean, so what? Like, I mean, we'll get there. That's not that big of a deal. But like when you have one side that's trying, and you have one side that's trying to like block and distract and obfuscate, and more importantly, and this is the thing I'm really worried about, is they're going to try and co-opt. And I said that when Caitlin Moran made that book about men, and she's a feminist, like, obviously a feminist, I was like, oh, she's going to try and co-opt the men's issues. Laura Bates is going to try to co-opt men's issues. It's the new feminism is going to be a pro-male feminism, but it's still going to be feminism. It's still going to blame men, right? Feminism is leftism. There's no separating those things. There's no such thing as a conservative feminist. There isn't. I know that there are women that will say that. They're lying. It's not true. There's no such thing, because if you are, I think, on the right, and I know that we've all been to some degree captured by leftist thought. I think everyone has. That's why there's like just varying degrees of leftism. That's why our society has moved as a whole further left. Not just like the lefties. The lefties have gone far left, but the supposed right-wingers have gone a little left as well. And this is something that Crowder has said, who, again, after his divorce, he's apologized for the things he said about MRAs, and he's sort of like seen the light. I mean, I think that there are allies. We have people that we can work with. And I think that like shitting on everyone that hasn't completely swallowed the red pill is just not a great idea. But like, I don't think the left works with us. I don't think it'll work. And after that, the thing with Lauren Southern, where she was just saying, oh, you guys are just like the feminists, like on my Facebook page. I mean, that's proof of that. Because I used to think Lauren Southern was pretty based until that. And that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So, I don't know. Those are just some thoughts swinging around in my head. Tin Men did not mention Honey Badger Radio when he was on Chris Williamson. I had him on for an interview literally a week before that video came out. Literally a week before. Chloe Roma knows we're out there. She knows, but she has not even come close to our perimeter. And she's only attacked Pearl. And Pearl is going to be coming on our show. So that tells you where they're at, right? Like you can see that they're drawing a line. They're creating a border that they will not cross. And I think that is a problem, because if they control the narrative, then one of the things that will become a product of that is they're going to make us appear to be the extremists. And I don't think there's anything extremist about it. So anyway, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I look forward to, what you guys have to say. And I guess I'll talk to you all very soon. Like, subscribe, share the video. Share it on your social medias. I appreciate it. And I'll be doing I know that this is a gaming channel, but I will be doing a game at some point soon. It's just I don't really get a lot of time to do that. So maybe later today, depending on how Lindsay's feeling, might do more Broforce, or I might do something during the week. Anyway, thanks guys so much. Have a good one, and I'll see you soon.